All right, welcome everyone to U.S. Embassy in Croatia's Facebook Live on how to vote as a U.S. citizen living overseas. My name is Rebecca. This is my colleague Martina.
Hello.
We are the voting assistants here at the U.S. Embassy, and we are here with you today and through this entire election season to help you exercise your right to vote as a U.S. citizen. So before we get started, just want to lay out the timeline that we're looking at. The election is on Tuesday, November 3rd, and that sounds really far off, 96 days away to be exact. So you might be thinking, why do I need to worry about voting right now? Well, since you're overseas, it's actually very important to start thinking about this process now, because the recommended deadline to register and request your ballot as an overseas citizen is August 1st, so Saturday. But if you get your application in the next week, that's okay. If you delay it, then you might delay your actual ballot. The other date to think about is, yes, the election is November 3rd, but you actually need to mail back your ballot to the U.S. by October 1st. So this is why the election might be about 100 days away, but we are here with you today to explain how you can vote. So I'll go to the first question we received. So how do I register to vote and request an absentee ballot?
Okay, the process how to register to vote and how to request an absentee ballot is very simple. Basically, the voter submits the federal postcard application, we call it FPCA, and at the same time requests an absentee ballot. Election office in the United States, they receive and verify the information from your form. They register the applicant and record that applicant should receive an absentee ballot, and lastly sends the state ballot to the voter. Voter receives, completes, and returns the ballot. Now, there are two ways of how you can register to vote and to request an absentee ballot. The first way is a paper form that I'm holding right now in my hands. The second way is an online assistant. Online assistant is electronic form that you will find in the fvap.gov website, and as well you will find the voting assistance guide. Now, I will go over the form in a few minutes, but I would like my colleague Rebecca to tell you her own experience, how it looked like when she registered to vote and when she requested her absentee ballot through the online assistant program.
Yes, so personal testimonial. I'm from Ohio. This is where I vote. And I actually went to the fvap.gov just earlier this summer, and honestly, registering to vote and requesting your ballot through the online assistant was honestly simpler than picking out your dinner off of Wolt. So if you have a few minutes, go and do it. You pick your state first, and it tells you everything you need to fill out. So it walks you through step by step, and the best part that I thought was at the end, when you have to print it off to sign it, it tells you exactly how to return the ballot. Where does it go? Do you have to mail it? Can you email it? And then my own voting precinct in Ohio actually confirmed that they received my registration form same day. Not guaranteeing that yours will be as responsive as mine, but I was incredibly impressed by how quickly I was able to register to vote and then have my request for an absentee ballot logged. So if you have a chance, since you're all on the internet right now, if you just want to, after this, go to fvap.gov. You'll be done really fast.
So, as Rebecca said, we highly encourage using the online assistant way in order to register to vote and request an absentee ballot. Now, the paper form is actually 2-for-1 form. So, if you use the paper form, if you do not have internet, email at home, a computer, and also a printer, because the only downside of doing it online on online assistant is you need to have a printer at home. So you print out the the registration form. You have to sign it, date it, and then send it back electronically. The paper form is readily available. You can find it at all American corners in Croatia. We did send a stack of paper forms for your use. Also, you can always call the embassy, the American Citizen Services number, or send us an email at zagrebacs@state.gov if you require and need one of the paper forms. Definitely, you can also print it out at the fvap.gov website. Now, I would just like to go over the form a little bit and tell you that the form consists of 7 sections. Each section is very important. I would like to tell you that this form has to be complete, accurate. If you're doing it in your handwriting should be legible. And definitely, at the end, we need a signature and a date prior to sending it to the election board office in the United States. So first, the full name. The social security number, definitely you need to put it in. It's usually the 4 last digits of your social security number. So don't worry if you are worried about PII. You don't have to put the full social security number. However, please check in the voting assistance guide. It propagates for every state. It tells you exactly what needs to be put in the registration form that I'm holding right now. Now, question number 2, what is your address in the United States, state or territory where you are registering to vote? I just wanted to emphasize that this would be your last address in the United States. So the last address where you resided in the United States. This is the place where you are going to actually send your registration to vote and request an absentee ballot. Where are you now? Question number 3, that is your current address. Question number 4, what is your contact information? You put it down. Question number 5, what are your preferences for upcoming elections? So you can write, check email if you wish to receive it by email, fax, or by mail. Definitely sign, date. On the other side, when you turn it over, you just fold it like this. Here is where you will put the election board address in the United States. It's usually your county in the state where you were residing. And of course, your current address here. Okay, so this is it for the paper form right now.
So then we'll go, like we said, every state is a little bit different, which is why we recommend going to the online assistant. And so if you have to physically mail it in, it will tell you not all states require it to be physically mailed for the request. So just check that out before you try to email it somewhere or mail it, see what your options are. So the next question we received is, when can I expect the absentee ballot to arrive?
Okay, so if you send your request to vote and a request for your registration to vote and a request for absentee ballot now, before August 1st, then you should receive it 45 days prior to the election date, which is November 3rd of this year.
Yeah, so if you get it in a little bit late, like say next week, should still be fine, but that 45 days, mid-September, is when you should expect your state to be either emailing you or mailing the ballot, depending on what you chose and what your state does.
Exactly. And the next question is, how do I return my absentee ballot?
Great question. This is especially relevant right now because we recognize that we're having some issues with the mail systems due to the pandemic, which is why all of these deadlines are pretty early. So you have a couple options for returning it. One is if the Croatian postal system is able to send mail back to the U.S., you could just do it that way. We recognize that that has been a problem recently. We don't know what that will look like come October, September. Another option is you can pay a private courier, something like DHL, to send it for you. Third option is the embassy has what is called a diplomatic pouch, which means if you drop off your ballot to us, we can put your ballot into the diplomatic pouch. It gets sent on to the U.S., and then it reaches the U.S. postal system. So if you do that, your ballot will just need to be addressed and have postage on it for the U.S. So we can take care of the international mailing piece for you. And if you want more information on how you can deliver the ballot to us, we have it on our website. We have an entire voting page with very detailed information. And our embassy website is hr.usembassy.gov. Go there or ask Martina or myself, and we can also send you this information.
Correct. The next question is, what do I do if my absentee ballot does not arrive by October 1st? What do we do then?
So this is a big concern for everyone. I'll admit I'm also slightly concerned because if you go to the trouble of registering to vote, you want to vote. You want that ballot. But don't panic. If your ballot has not arrived for whatever reason, there is actually a form you can fill out if you go to fvap.gov, and it's called the Federal Write-In Absentee Ballot. Exactly what it sounds like. It's a form where you actually will hand write in who you're voting for, and you will send that to your local election authority, and your vote will be counted. So like we said, don't panic. You have a backup option to still vote for November 3rd election.
And Rebecca, can I vote if I've never lived in the United States? Is that possible?
Excellent question. So that depends on the state where your parents resided. So a lot of people who have never lived in the U.S. can vote, but what they typically do, or a lot of states allow, is for you to use your parents' last address in the U.S. But this is a very state-specific regulation. So if you've never lived in the U.S., I recommend first going to the fvap.gov. And this question is so frequently asked. If you go to frequently asked questions, one option is that exact one. It'll show you the list of states. You find the state where your parent lived, and you can read, will they let you vote there? So excellent question. So just depends, but most states have some way that you can still. All right, so we have received a couple more questions during this. We received a question from Sarah. She asks, my question is, why are American citizens unable to vote in person at an embassy? Is this due to state laws? Has there been any discussion around changing this so that it is easier for those abroad to cast their vote? Do you want me to answer?
Yes.
Okay. So the answer is you cannot vote at an embassy because elections are state-run. This is also why you're registering to vote with a state, is because they control it. Even though you're trying to vote for a federal election, for example, the presidency, it's still based on the state, and they're in charge. And as long as they're in charge and it's a state-run operation, there's no voting available at the embassy. But we will take your ballot, we can collect them, and we can forward those on for you. So the next question we've received, so it's from Michael, and it goes about the Croatian post office saying that they will not deliver to the U.S. until further notice. I think we've already mentioned this, but yes, we're aware that the Croatian postal system is not currently able to mail anything to the U.S. You can use DHL or another courier, or you can get the ballot to us.
Exactly.
So that's not the end of the world. It would be great if the postal system is working and communicating again. With the pandemic, it's hard for us to predict, but we are here and we can help you still get it back.
Exactly. So send it to us if it's a paper form. If not, please use the online assistant.
So I don't see any more questions. I'll give it a couple seconds here. I hope we have answered everything about how you can register to vote, request your absentee ballot. Like we said, it's very simple. Martina and I are here to answer any questions you have, help you. We have a lot of information on the embassy website. We also, if you email or call us, we can also help you and provide some information. And if you have state-specific questions, it'd be good to contact us individually, and we we can answer those and help. All right, so I don't see any more questions that have come in. So in that case, thank you everyone for participating today or listening today, and we hope that this has been useful for you. And if you have questions, send them our way. Thank you.
You know where to find us, so please give us a call or send us an email at zagreb@state.gov. Bye-bye.